Hey YouTube, Wes here. So Facebook changed its name, or did they? In this video, we're going to talk about what just happened with Facebook and why they are doing it. All this and a whole bunch more coming right up. All right, YouTube, Wes Spencer here. Hope you guys are doing great on this channel. We cover all things crypto. We cover a lot of stuff around startups and technology, cybersecurity. Really glad you're here. Like and subscribe goes a long way for me. And definitely check out memberships. They're right down below. Would love for you to dive in and check that out if it's right for you. Okay, without any further ado, the news hit today, and I thought this was super interesting. So Facebook has rebranded. Is it a rebrand or is it something more? The truth is, it's actually something more. It's not just like a complete rebrand of like Facebook, the name is going away. See, large companies that have gone through IPO that end up acquiring, have a large M&A arm or what's called mergers and acquisitions, often go through this challenge. They go through this challenge if we've bought all of these other companies and we're no longer just the one company we were known for. So how do we handle that? Well, they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars, not just on a rebrand, but even complete company restructure changes. And if you think about what's been going on with like Facebook for the past year, there couldn't be a better time for this. See, Facebook has been under so much political pressure, all kinds of social heat over a lot of the changes, a lot of the ways they handle data, a lot of the incentivizations that they have inside the platform that I can't really think of anybody that even likes Facebook. I mean, sure, everyone uses them or uses their apps and all their subsidiary companies, but who's passionate about it? I don't really know anybody. Now, partially, I realize that's because I'm a cybersecurity guy. I care about my data and my privacy, and the less I have leaking to Facebook, the better off I am. And so I really stay away from it, pretty much tried and true, all in. But let's talk about the news at a higher level. So first of all, they changed their name to Meta. That's kind of weird, right? The Greek word for meta, like, are we really like that? Like, this is like, that's what we're choosing. But as you scroll through this article, and there's plenty that are similar to it, you're going to get some more information around this. So first of all, they kind of talk about, this is so funny. There's like total Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, look at this dude right here. Like, I know all the meme stuff came around of like the bro being an android, but like, I kid you not, if I like made my own robot, this is what he would look like the very first Android. Like, I know all the memes went around with this, but like, you can't get enough of it. Okay, anyway, just playing right into the hand there. You know, we're a company that builds technology to connect. Okay, that's true. That's a really well thought through statement. You know, they probably spent millions of dollars messaging that together. But we can finally put people at the center of our technology. Then he talks about who they are is like they're the metaverse. They're not just like a single company, right? Like, but over time, I hope we're seen as a metaverse company. Like, metaverse, like the Marvel universe, like I don't, it's funny, right? So where did it come from? Well, first of all, it came from this idea that we're a family of companies. And you're going to see this when I go to the Meta site. You're going to see all this kind of big pulled together. And so they've already owned the Meta handle. They used to, I think his wife owned meta.org. That was like a research something or other, who cares? And they took that and it now redirects into meta.com, which is the overall handle. And so they also own the @meta handle. I wonder who owned that before and how many millions of dollars they paid for it. I actually have a friend a long time ago that owned a really well-known domain that I can't say the name of, and it was bought from under him. It was sort of a forced buyout based on like some copyright law and all that, but he was still able to walk out with some number of millions of dollars from it. I'm like, man, all because you sat on a domain? He's like, yeah. And like, I owned it and had this plan for this company way before this company ever came about. So sometimes those things happen, right? So anyway, we're going to scroll kind of I'm going to come back to this article in a minute and give you some commentary on it. But first of all, here is Twitter's or Meta's Twitter page is probably the right way to say it. So it's meta.com. It's /meta on Twitter if you want to go check this out. And so it's all here. I mean, it's blown up, 13.4 million followers just right out of the blue. You can see the announcement video, and it's kind of a creative video. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing. You can see it on your own. But they kind of go through, maybe it's not this video, but I saw it earlier, trust me, of like going through old technology and watching it slowly upgrade over time. I thought, yeah, here it is right here. So kind of talking about over time, all these things that upgrade and change. And wasn't that part of Loki they just showed right there? Anyway, so this is like the new site, and you may wonder why, like what's causing them to do this? What's the motivator? And so I mentioned some of this before. When companies really grow, and they have a lot of brands under their name, things get muddy, things get murky, things get, you sometimes lose your influence. So as an example, let's go back to the Meta website here and we can check some of this out. I'll give you some examples. So when we click under what we build, notice, and I think most of you would know this, Facebook Messenger, which now that's not even Facebook Messenger, it's just Messenger. They took off Facebook. It's Insta, WhatsApp, Oculus, a lot of this. And I think, maybe you and I know, for example, that Facebook owns WhatsApp. Maybe we know that, but many people might not. And so you have some really shining brands that have a lot of influence, and it doesn't all paint back to the parent company. And there's reasons and motivations to want to do that, especially in a climate today where Facebook is really struggling based upon some of the decisions they've made on how they handle data. This is a good idea for them to try to consolidate all of this. But of course, they didn't consolidate it all under the Facebook name. I mean, why would you? You look at all of the political pressure they've gone under. Why take that muddy, nasty political pressure they're dealing with and then put all these brands under that name that already has been tarnished? Not to say that Facebook can't fix that tarnished name, but it's sometimes much easier to just rebrand everything under a new umbrella. And so that is Meta. So here you are. This is all about it. You can see more about it. Some of this stuff is funny. Their actions like promoting safety and expression and elections and some of this stuff. The very things in my mind that they took a lot of heat for, but whatever. The thing I wanted to share, though, is that there is a lighthouse for this. And when I say lighthouse, I mean like someone that's paved the way before. And I want to share this with you. You probably know that Google went through a rebranding themselves way back, and I think it was like 2016. And they created a parent company, sort of an umbrella holding company called Alphabet. And if you think about it, they needed to do the exact same thing. So here's Alphabet, it's abc.xyz, which is the coolest domain on earth. I will grant them that. And they needed to do the same thing. I mean, you can even see this here where they talk about some of all of their like apps that have really become so fragmented, right? So it's Google Maps, it's YouTube, it's Chrome, Android, and there's many more on top of that. See, these big companies that go through these huge M&A efforts that land with a bunch of successful brands that are all doing well, but all diversified and don't really tie back to a unified name. And so this is really one of the main causes why large companies will rebrand. So if you've wondered, where did Meta come from and why did Facebook change to Meta? In a sense, they didn't. Facebook, the app is still Facebook. They just now have a new parent company. As we scroll down, you're going to see more over this. A lot of this is stuff that you already know. The article talks about intense scrutiny over, all of the internal documents from the whistleblower. If you haven't read up on that, you really need to. They talk about a lot of the Instagram stuff, how it's really become this toxic place, especially girls. And that's so true, at least from my point of view. It really does incentivize a lot of toxicity that doesn't help anybody. And I'm not trying to get into politics and all of this, but certainly this is the time. If there's going to be a rebrand, this is the time to do it. And so there you have it. That's why these things happen. I guess the final question we might want to ask ourselves is it paying off for them, right? So if we take a look at Facebook stock, over the past day, it looks like at the time of writing now, we're about to close at the end of the day today. It's up $4, almost $5. It's not a huge difference today. 5 day, though, we're still down. 1 month, we're down. 6 months down. So we're still way below because of all the political pressure. It's not until you go to a year to date final to look at the all-time high over the past year at 384. They still haven't recovered from that, right? They're still at 316. So they've got a long way to go to improve the stock price, which is oftentimes reflective of their capacity to grow, of political climate pressures, and ultimately just shareholder buy-in and vision of where a company might be. And so there you have it. That is all about the name change, why they've done it. And I figured I would get this out to you as soon as possible just so you could have some commentary on what is going on in the world of Facebook and why they changed the name. I also think you can expect new and more things to come now that they have an umbrella and landing page for all of their brands. You may see name consolidation. You may see changes. I think there's rumors of Oculus, one of their 3D company, may go through a complete name change. And you may see new acquisitions that also come in that let them kind of be more nimble in the overall umbrella. So there you have it. Hope that was helpful. Any questions, any comments, leave them in the comments down below. And if this was useful for you, share this with a friend, hit like, hit subscribe, definitely hit the bell icon to be notified of new things in the future. Thank you so much, my friends.